Okay, so now you know how to move around. Let's have a look at what's going on here a bit. So as I said, this is your main kind of window, modeling window. Here, if it's open, that's your projects. You know your view cube, okay. You have your standard kind of things like save. Under file, you can select open, save, that kind of thing. Just basic things for now. Here, these are your toolbars. So you will see at the moment we're in this thing called design, and there's a few different environments. Okay, for now, so you can do simulations, you can do animations, that kind of thing. For now, we're just going to stick with design. Okay, and in the design environment, you will have these standard tools. So you have solids, surfaces, sheet metal, and some tools there. Again, for now, just so we can get going, we're just going to concentrate on solids. We're going to concentrate on solid creation, which is just this kind of thing here. Okay. If you do specialize in sheet metal and you want to get into that, you can. Surfaces are a bit more complex, so for now, we'll just concentrate on solids. So we have this toolbar here, which is create. And if you pull down on, whenever you see this arrow, you can click it and you'll get more commands. If you see someone using something like AutoCAD, you sometimes, depending on the user, they can have a whole load of commands all around the screen. Okay, some people have more commands than screen space, and that's why some of this software can seem a bit overwhelming. What Fusion does is it aims to just have the command you use most up at the top, and then all these are available if you need them, but some of them you use every now and then, once in a blue moon. So they're there when you need them, but you don't necessarily need it taking up screen space. Others, like sketch, extrude, that kind of thing, well, you use them all the time. So they're there. You can, if there was something, if you do a particular kind of operation and you use a lot of loft commands, okay, you get these three dots here. You can pin it to your toolbar and you can drag it around. And you can put it where you want, okay, and you can change all that, but that's, again, we're getting into customization now, you don't need to know, but that's basically how this works. So there is more commands than what it shows here, that's all I'm trying to say. Same with, so we have create here, we have modify, same with modify, there is more available. Assemble, construct, inspect, insert. Okay, so these are our main, for the solid modeling, these are our main commands we're going to be using. Create is, as you would think, create your basic objects, boxes, cylinders, spheres, everything is made out of these. Extrusion, sketches, okay, we do that all the time. We do sketches and we extrude them, we revolve them, we sweep them. So this is how you create your geometry or your 3D model. Modify, this is how you change it. So the process would be for something like this, you sketch it, under create, you sketch it and you extrude it, and that creates your basic shape, and then you modify that basic shape using these commands. Okay. Next you go on to assemble. So we have the base and we have the lid. Oops. So we have the base and we have the lid, which you assemble together using this one. Okay, and you can use this to construct planes. This is inspect, that gives you measuring tools, so if you wanted to know the length of something, okay, and you can insert things like stickers, decals, text, you can insert that kind of images, that kind of thing, okay. So just a very quick overview of this main basic toolbar. That's all I'm going to do. As I say, I'm not going to go through every command like some people do and bore you to tears. We need to get modeling as quick as possible. So that's our basic toolbar. Next we have this browser. Now when you're modeling, you will do various things. You will create solid bodies, you will create sketches, and you'll create joints. All that will become second nature to you, but you do need to kind of store those items. As I said, in the introduction, we don't end up with lots of different files that we have to keep in places. We end up with just one project file and everything is stored in that. So this browser is kind of our filing system, if you like, for this model. So this model here, it's called box tests. Okay, I think that should have been test, but it's called box tests. And we have the base, which is in red, which is box base. Okay, and we have the lid, which is in grey. So you can see that here. These top ones belong to the overall file. Just ignore them for a minute. But under our box tests, we have the lid, and we can expand that. And we have the base, and we can expand that. We have an eye symbol here, which means we can see it. Okay, if we were to go to the base and click the eye, it would turn off. We wouldn't see it. That would allow us to do things like edit or model features that would be hidden, like these little tabs here, which allow it to just sit in place. But it is all part of the same file. It is all part of this box file. Okay, so this browser window here is kind of a filing system for our project. And if you are a bit confused about it, don't worry, this is an introduction. Just go with it. It will become second nature, and all this will be, as we use it, as we go, it will just become obvious how you use it. And this is why I like to teach rather than spend too much time telling you how everything works. Just teach on the fly, because you just learn to use it by using it, basically. Down here we have what they call the timeline, okay, or design history. And what this is, as you go along, so as we made this model, it's as if it's being filmed. It's capturing each controller, each part of a model, if you like, and you can then go back in time to when this model started. So we can see how this model was made. We started with a sketch of a rectangle in 2D. Okay, we then extruded that 2D into a box. We'll go through extrude soon, don't worry, but we basically made it into a box. We then rounded the corners of that box, the edges. We created another sketch on top, which was a smaller box, which we then extruded down to cut out the middle. Okay, we did more sketches, and we created the upstands, which we extruded, which you'll see in a minute. There we go. And we created holes in them, and we did all that, and then we made the lid and blah blah blah. So anyway, Fusion, as you go along, as you work, Fusion records this kind of timeline, this design history. And what that allows you to do, let's imagine we decided that these holes here, actually, I don't want that hole, I just want that hole there. Okay, so what you can do is go back in time. In other software you would have to undo until the point where you made that, and then start again from that point, which means you have to redo all the geometry you did since. In Fusion you can just go back to the point where you made them, okay, which is right back here, probably that sketch there. So this was our sketch, okay, and you can edit that sketch, and we can delete that object there. Don't worry about following along here, by the way, because I'm just showing you how this timeline works. And then you can go back to the end of the timeline. So all this work is still being done, but you've got rid of that. Okay. So I hope you understood how good that is. It's better than just doing undo, because if you did undo, you would have lost all the work since and had to redo it. You can go back in time, edit that little command you did maybe last week, and then come back to the present, and all the other work is still being done. which is brilliant. Okay, this is the parametric modeling. It's this term you'll hear a lot of, but it's great. It allows you to go back and edit things which you did last week, which may have been wrong, or take an existing design, and as long as you've got a design history of an existing design, you can edit it a lot easier, or just tweak it a lot easier, without undoing lots of work or deleting lots of other work. Okay, and this design history, if you get given a model, it may or may not have this design history in, because you can, if you wanted to kind of, okay, I've done this model, I don't want anyone changing it, I want it set like this, you can delete that design history and your model just becomes as it is at that point. But if you've got a history, then yeah. So that is a history bar. Okay, again, don't worry if you didn't understand what I did with the sketch and the extrude. I just wanted you to understand the importance of this here. Down here we have some view commands. If you don't, obviously if you're using the mouse, which 99.9% of people do, you don't need to kind of be clicking on pan and zoom and things like that. You just use your mouse wheel. Okay, so that's it. That's all I'm going to teach you about the interface. I'm not going to go on for hours and hours. As I said, we know enough now, we can start modeling something. So in the next chapter, we're going to start actually modeling something.